Hi everyone, this is Jules. For the past 6 days I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys for the PlayStation 4, and during that time I've learnt a lot of not necessarily tips and tricks but just like mentalities and common sense ideas that not a lot of people in Fall Guys seem to possess. Some of the tips and tricks, but it's just about changing your mindset in certain situations. I think these are the kind of thoughts that might help people who maybe get to round 2 and 3, might help them kind of convert 2 and 3 into kind of 4 and finals. When you get into a final, anything can happen. You've got to be in it to win it. And if you're getting to more finals, that means you're getting more kudos to spend, and you're also getting more fame, which helps you go up levels and allows you to, you unlock something different for every level anyway. New skins, new faces, new colours, other things like that. So I'm tentatively calling this part 1 of my Fall Guys guide, because if people are interested, if people use it and think it's helpful, I will make some more. But I'm only going to talk about 7 rounds that I have particular insight into this in this episode. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if you have any questions about any of the other rounds, feel free to ask me, and I can easily make a second one of these where I talk about 7 more rounds. Just depends if people are interested or not. Obviously, computer games, very visual medium. This is just an audio medium, but like I said, it's more kind of a mentality rather than me saying, go there, go there. It's just about things to think about while you're playing. So the first stage that I want to talk about is the Whirlygig. And I know what you're thinking, Jules, I can qualify from the Whirlygig. It's very simple. I'm going to teach you how to win the Whirlygig, not qualify from the Whirlygig. This is one of the best rounds to actually get the ahead of the pack trophy and the Big T's trophy. So if you master this incredibly simple strategy, you have a far better chance of actually coming in first place, and that means more kudos, and that means more fame. At the beginning of this round, you'll actually see the kind of drone camera footage, top-down view of the map. And what I want you to pay very close attention to is 4 blue circles right at the beginning of the stage. The circles I want you to use are the southernmost circle and the westernmost circle, both of which have a kind of purple sweeper going round. The southernmost circle is clockwise, the westernmost circle is anti-clockwise. So when you run down the incline, head into the southernmost circle but bear left. So I want you to be hit by the clockwise sweeper, and I want it to send you into the western circle where you'll be hit by the anti-clockwise sweeper. What you need to do is chain these 2 hits, and you will end up, if you do it right, in or beyond the northernmost circle. The best part of the sweeper to be hit by is about 70% along it. If the mechanism is 0 and the tip of the sweeper is 100, you want to be hit by about 70%. So that clockwise sweeper will send you from the left-hand side of the southernmost circle into the right-hand side of the westernmost circle, just ready for the sweeper to come round and hit you into or beyond the northernmost circle. It might sound a bit complicated, it's difficult to explain it through an audio medium, but you basically want to go against your instincts. Don't jump over these sweepers. Allow yourself to be hit once and then twice, and you will hopefully, if you've done it right, be projected right through the northernmost circle. If you've done this right, at this point you should be at worst in the top 3, but normally I'm in first place at this point. Then you have to learn to use the yellow conveyor belt, use the momentum to jump straight onto the yellow block, then straight onto the blue block. I've seen people that can actually go from the conveyor belt straight onto the blue block. Fair enough, I can't do that. I like to play it safe, yellow then blue very quickly, pause, wait for the propeller to go round, then go through, and then it's just simply, run for your life to the very end. Next, I want to talk about 2 rounds together actually, because they're very similar and it's the exact same mentality for both. One is Egg Scramble and one is Hoarders. One you're collecting eggs, one you're collecting balls. What you need to understand is that when you get 3 balls in your end zone, or when you get 20 or more eggs in your little egg basket, you have enough to qualify. So that is the moment where you need to say to yourself, we already have enough. I'm switching from an offensive mentality to a defensive mentality, which nobody does. I've been stood with 20 seconds to go in Hoarders in the end zone with 4 balls, and when the full-time whistle went, we had no balls because I was the only person back defending them. Everybody from the other 2 teams came in, took them all, and we didn't qualify. We had everything we needed, but everybody was out still trying to pillage the other balls. It's exactly the same with Egg Scramble. Once you have 20 or more eggs, you need to get into the mosh pit of eggs. And if people jump in trying to take them, you need to hug them, you need to wrestle them, you need to do whatever you can. You don't have to be in the mosh pit. I prefer to be in the mosh pit. You can be on either the first step or the top step, but people can get past you on those steps pretty easily. I prefer to stop them at the point of them trying to grab the egg. That's where I like to hassle them. It's as simple as that. It's a mentality thing. If you are winning, win. Don't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Just know that you're about to win, know that you're about to qualify, and just defend. Obviously, if you're losing, go out and grab some goddamn eggs. But if you're winning, just win for fuck's sake. The fourth one I want to talk about is perfect match. And if you've got a bad memory, there's not much I can really do to help you. But there are 3 ideas that I would just like to impart on you just to kind of ease the burden. Firstly, you've got to just remember that there are only 3 rounds. Only ever 3 rounds. That never changes. Secondly, even though you can see the pink slime between the tiles, you can run across them. You don't need to jump between tiles. It took me a while to actually realise that. It's incredibly obvious, but yeah, you just see people kind of jumping about. And if you're in a Hail Mary situation where you don't know where the fruit is and you're following the pack, I think running across is quicker than kind of bouncing across. That's just my personal opinion. What I would recommend to everybody in Perfect Match is, if you can imagine the screen that shows the numbers, then that shows the fruit, is a cinema screen. What I would suggest is that you go to the back row of the cinema, and for every round, just learn the back row off by heart. Many's the time that's got me through the first round and the second round. In the third round, you probably need to know more than just the back row, because I think in the third round it could be possibly 6 fruits: cherry, grape, apple, orange, banana, melon. Yeah, so it could be any of 6 fruit in the final round, so the back row won't help you. You'll need to do a bit more. But in the back row, you've got a view of all 16 tiles. I just think that's the best place to situate yourself. The next one is rock and roll. This is one of my favourites. I don't think I've ever lost at rock and roll. If you're on the left side or if you're on the right side, you've got a huge advantage because you've got the wall to help you once you go over the final bump. And that means less chance of people to kind of hassling you when you get down there. But my tip for this is so goddamn simple. Just push the ball. Yeah, you heard me. Just push the goddamn ball. If you push the ball, you will win. If half your team goes off the edge to try and hassle other teams, you will lose. If you're the kind of person that goes off the edge to hassle other people, you're probably used to losing in this game. Just as a pack, as a team, push the ball. You can pretty much do it in a straight line the whole way there, except when you get to the poles, you probably need to manoeuvre around one of them. Push the thing over the edge and just nail it. Just go as fast as you can. Do diving headers, do whatever you're more comfortable with. But that's the only bit of advice I would give you. Don't go hassling other teams. I've seen a team where the ball is up above the hump, but all the team are down the other end hassling people, thinking, yeah, we're going to stop you. Who's pushing your ball? How can you win? The point of the game, to qualify, isn't to obstruct the other team. It's to get your ball in the goal. So get your ball in the goal. If nobody's there to push your ball, it doesn't matter how well you're hassling the other team. It's simple. It's such a simple game that people make so difficult. The next one I want to talk about is Rollout, which is one of my favourite games, and it's one I only lose when people throw me off. This is such an easy round to get. It's much like Block Party, so goddamn easy, but people make it so goddamn hard. There are a few things to remember on this one. You'll either start, I can't remember the order of the colours, but I know the blues are on the edges. Let's say you start on orange, look for blue, head in that direction. Never jump, only walk. If you jump, you'll bump into someone, they'll knock you in the wrong direction, or you'll have mistimed, or you haven't seen the edge and you'll jump straight off the edge. Walk to the edge of the orange, for instance, wait for there to be a space to walk onto, and then walk. It's like crossing the road. But your ultimate aim is always head for blue. Once you reach blue, turn all the way around 180, and then head to the other blue. Now, the reason I say walk blue to blue is because as much as I love this game, the camera and almost every round can be an issue. If you're in the middle and you're going orange, purple, orange, purple, orange, purple, that means you've got to keep turning your camera around constantly. And this is a game of, the landscape is literally changing underneath you. You don't want to be in a situation where you're constantly trying to catch your bearings. So head in one direction constantly and do one big turnaround so the camera will turn around behind you again, and then head all the way in the opposite direction. That is what I would suggest. As I said, this is one of the big ones for people grabbing you and throwing you off. Can't be helped. If you're grabbed and thrown off, just shake it off. It happens. This one, slime climb, block party, people love to grab you and try and interfere with you. Jump club is another one. Just find some space if you can. Keep yourself to yourself. Don't engage. As soon as you grab someone, they will grab you back and they will victimize you for the entirety of the rest of the round. It's just really not worth it. So just aim for blue, and once you hit blue, turn all the way around and head back for blue. The good thing about rollout is once you have learned to master the skills I've just basically told you about, all the mentalities, it's one where people die very frequently, very quickly. You only need to be walking around for like 30 seconds on that one, you'll pretty much qualify. Even sometimes it's up to 18. That's how many eliminations they need. And you'll look for the first time, you'll already be at 12. Like I said, people are desperate to make that one difficult, but it's really not. So just master these very simple suggestions, and rollout will be much simpler for you. And rollout's often the one before kind of a semi-final or before a final. So yeah, just rollout is often the key to bigger and better things. The final stage that I want to talk about is slime climb, but I only want to talk about the final 3 sections of it. The first one of those is where you've got loads of yellow conveyor belts and things moving back and forward that look like pink boxing bags. Normally you'd walk onto this straight on, but what I would suggest is getting onto it but actually turning your body and the camera right so that you're looking at the finishing line. So instead of moving forwards and backwards, you're actually moving left and right. What I would also suggest is moving not between the boxing bag and the slime, but between the boxing bag and the finishing line. So if it pushes you backwards, there are no issues because there is a wall there. But obviously if it pushes you forwards, you're falling into the slime. So turn your whole perspective to look right towards the finishing line, move behind them as opposed to in front of them, and just use patience. You move behind one and you pause, wait for the next boxing bag to move, and then you move and then you pause, and just take them one at a time. That's the best way to do it, moving left and right instead of forwards and backwards. I think even it might be slightly psychological. When you're looking head on, you can see all of the boxing bags in one go, and you might think you've just got to sprint. You've got to find that one particular gap that will allow you to kind of bob and weave through all of them, but do it completely differently, one at a time, moving left rather than moving forwards and backwards. That's the best way to do it. Next, you've got these kind of 3 balance beams. They're completely psychological. Walk along them in a straight line. The transition is difficult, but just land without moving forwards on the second one and then move forwards. At this point, you're thinking to yourself, I'm nearly beaten the slime climb. You might have that slight adrenaline rush, but just that transition, just make sure you nail the transition and then keep moving forward. The final section is actually not that difficult at all. You can look at this one head on rather than changing your perspective. You need to kind of head northeast. There is a perfect channel between the hammers that just opens up. Once you get to the end of it, you'll kind of crash into a green wall, and you need to just gently maneuver your way behind the one last hammer, come out. There are these 3 swinging lollipop pendulum type things. If you get past slime climb, you can often go straight into a final, because everybody is terrible at slime climb. So that's why it's a really good one to master. Most of the earlier rounds, it's all about patience, but these ones, it's about having specific strategies, like I said. The amount of people that I've seen get knocked off by those final pendulums as well. They think, I've done it, and they just try to run through both at the same time. You've done so much hard work, pause, and then move. This is one that I won, and this is the one I actually got big T's for. I was one of only 2 people to qualify from that, and went straight into a final, full mountain, won the final. So perfect slime climb, and you can often go straight into a final, definitely into a semi-final, I would say. That's all for this first episode. If it gets 50 downloads or something, I might do another one. But I think these are just some kind of, none of it's rocket science, just occasionally just changing your mentality and sometimes changing your literal perspective because, as I said, the camera can be an issue sometimes. I hope these help you get from kind of second and third rounds into finals. Good luck if you get into a hexagon final because I've been in at least 20 and I've never won on hexagon. All my wins have come on Full Mountain or the finale version of Jump Club, but I can't remember the name of that. If there are any other rounds you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. You can contact me via DM on Twitter at Jupick, that's Jupick. And you can hear me and Lex on Versus and the Geekly, and you can hear me on my podcast, Podcastaway.